Hi and welcome. This was a little trip that I took a couple years ago in July 2018 to Northern Ontario. Ontario is a huge area, and I was only able to visit a few places. I only had 8 days. So I hope you enjoy reliving this trip with me. The first day I woke up bright and early in the morning. The car was already packed because I packed the night before, and I headed on the road from Hamilton, and my first stop was going to be Sault Ste. Marie. Day two, I woke up again bright and early in the morning, was on the road by 6 a.m., and my destination was eventually going to be Thunder Bay. Leaving from Sault Ste. Marie, the first stop, however, was Lake Superior Provincial Park. This was my first experience seeing Lake Superior. And let me tell you, I'm not spiritual, and it was a little bit spiritual in a way. It happened on July 7th, the day of my daughter's birthday. Lake Superior is truly an amazing lake, and Lake Superior Provincial Park was very magical. I don't know if it's because I was there so early in the morning and no one else was there, but it just had that wonderful magical feel. I spent about 40 minutes in the park before returning back to the car and heading back on the road towards my destination, which was Thunder Bay. The water of Kakabeka Falls definitely has a very loud roar. And I also had a special treat that day. I got to see a bald eagle, which was looking down the river from the falls. During my drive to Kakabeka Falls, I noticed a sign for Agawa Provincial Park, and it didn't look like it was too much further away. Even though it wasn't part of my agenda, I decided to check it out. It started raining on the way to Agawa, but that was okay because a little bit of rain doesn't bother me when I'm walking through the woods. I was really happy that I decided to go. It was an amazing park. Next time I hope to have a little bit more time to explore it even more. After hiking Agawa and finding myself slipping and sliding all over the rocks that were covering the trails, I decided it was a good idea when I get back to Thunder Bay to go shopping and get myself some proper footwear. The next morning, heading out to Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, I was both excited and a little bit afraid because I've heard of some of the challenging hikes that were involved when visiting Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. On the map, I noticed that there was a trail accessible by car that led up to a lookout point. So I got in the car and I headed off. Anybody who decides to do this, I recommend that you take your time on the road. There are huge chunks of rock jutting out all over the place, and it's very treacherous for your vehicle. And once you arrive at the parking lot, it's basically just one big huge piece of flat rock that you're walking and driving on. The view from the top of this particular lookout is 100 meters from the surface of the lake. It was absolutely gorgeous, a little bit windy, and I have a little bit of vertigo, and when you look down it was kind of swimmy, but otherwise it was amazing. Day 5, I headed out from the area of Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. I was kind of sad to leave because I wanted to visit more, but my schedule was pretty tight, and a lot of the time I'm going to be on the road because driving from Sault Ste Marie to Thunder Bay is another 8 hours. So off I went, heading back to Sault Ste Marie. I took a little bit of video on my way back, but just because there was so many amazing things to see while I was driving, and really nowhere to pull over and take pictures safely, that is. There was a couple lookout areas, but not too many. So I took a few pictures. I did not look through the screen of the when I was taking the pictures. I was looking through the windshield, and so that's why the pictures are kind of erratic, because I didn't really know if I was filming anything. Of course, during my trip, I brought along all kinds of really amazing music. Tom Cochrane, Neil Young. I had the Guess Who and Burton Cummings. I had the Tragically Hip with me. Not literally, just their music. All kinds of great stuff, and I was just constantly changing out my CD and listening to the music as I was going. There was only one point during the entire trip across the Trans-Canada where we got stopped, and there was construction. They were working on a bridge. And I saw it when I went through the other way towards Thunder Bay, but it was clear sailing. And then on the way back, I had to stop. We were there about 10 minutes or so, and I just decided to crank up the stereo and listen to the Tragically Hip. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of my trip across Northern Ontario. Part 2 will feature my train trip, the Algoma train trip. If you ever get a chance to do that, it starts in Sault Ste Marie, and it is an entire day trip. You go all the way up to the canyon and back. It is amazing. I took 500 pictures. I have to pick out the favorite ones, and I'm going to be putting together a part 2 with that trip. Thanks for watching.